Welcome everyone to another episode of the Plastic Arts Podcast, the show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name is Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host. He's the indie game dev extraordinaire. He's breaking hearts in CyberTruk windows, Gavin Jones.
You're getting better at these.
Oh, sometimes I nail it. Yeah. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of that CyberTruk?
It is. You know, the thing that had me recently annoyed about it is there was this thing Elon Musk posted on Twitter, which somehow I caught before it had like 1,000 comments on it.
Yeah.
Of the CyberTruk. And like an F-150 or something, like doing like a tow off. They were trying to drag each other, and the CyberTruk was winning, which is going to happen because these you're throwing an electric motor with every tire. It's going to have torque. Electric motors have crazy torque. So off the line, there's no stopping them.
What was your issue with that?
My issue is, so you see the F-150. I think it's an F-150. So the back tires are spinning.
Yeah.
And the front tires are just rolling.
Oh, like
so you got two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. That's not fair.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of science nerds jumping in on the conversation on Twitter are like, well, whichever one is heavier is kind of going to win. And I'm like, well, I don't know the science on that. I feel like which one has more traction and maybe weight helps with that.
Does it come to a battle of the traction with the tires, and at some point is that where the weight
That's
comes
my
into play?
thought, right?
Gotcha.
Like you're heavier, yeah, but if you have torque and you have more traction, you can wreck the other car. But again, we have four-wheel drive versus two-wheel drive. That right there, not fair at all.
Gotcha.
So
I could see them also doing the comparison because there's going to be the inevitable truck clapback with like Tesla stuff, showing them like just going on the road for a long stretch, and eventually the Tesla just losing juice after a while. Like it doesn't have the ability to go as long as a car.
Or I mean, in that regard, just do speed, because while these electric motors are great for torque and jumping off the line, they have a max speed, which gas engines can way the fuck surpass.
Okay.
So and you know, you look at the Tesla sports car model, that can jump to whatever the fuck speed limit super fast. But once it gets like, there is an upper limit.
Really?
So to my limited understanding.
Is that because like you can do the Mad Max route where you're just like spitting gas into the engine?
Exactly. It's exactly that. Just milking it out your teat into the engine.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, actually, I want one. They look dope to me.
You're just wrong.
They're incredibly ugly, but that's what I dig about it. It's so different and weird, and I'm on board. But
you know, my mom brought up the point, and she's like, "It looks like the something Aztec or whatever, like the Toyota Aztec." And I'm like,
is that another like?
And
angular...
then I looked it up, and I'm like, the Aztec looks glorious compared to this thing.
It's you versus the dude she told you not to worry about kind of situation.
But yeah, so
Gavin, when I pick you up in my CyberTruk, you're gonna be spitting a different tune.
Will I?
I don't know.
At least it won't have the issue of like, it's the loud, obnoxious truck that's what's that thing, like smoke stacking it down the road.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're smoke stacking it, you don't look cool. You look like you're not competent enough to take care of your own truck.
Yeah, that's true.
When I see that just billowing out, it's like, well, you just don't give a fuck.
Change your oil,
or
man.
Yeah. So. Yeah, what you been playing, Fonzie? I
played a couple of things this week for once in a while. Like I played The Witcher 3, got into that.
Great.
It was on sale.
How are we feeling?
I'm actually super into it. So it's crazy, that Witcher character, he's like the most badass fucking character I've ever seen visualized. So he's basically like James Bond mixed with, I don't know, just whatever kind of like sensitive dude who can still kick your ass and steal your girl and uses magic, and he's actually a super dope character.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, genetically, he's built to be a goddamn machine. I think he's like, was he by Witcher 3? He's like 200 years old or some shit like that.
I don't even know. He looks
which
not
is
a day
weird,
over 100. So
yeah, right. In the new series, in the TV series, I think he's like less than 100.
Oh, okay.
So this is young Witcher.
Gotcha. No, yeah, it's dope. The game runs awesome, and
don't spear me on Twitter, by the way. I'm sure all of this is wrong.
Yeah, it's like, well, actually, it's 1,000. Just like playing through the open world, I keep thinking about like, what will Cyberpunk be? I imagine they're using this as the bare bones for it, and just kind of reworking it. But it's a completely different play style. They have way more like geometry going on. But I'm just kind of thinking, how's it going to run?
And that's got me scared because Cyberpunk is soon.
Yeah.
and I don't have a next gen console.
Is that April or something? Well, you can get it's going to be on current gen stuff, so you can get
right.
Black Friday's
I need
the best
that because my PC will not run that.
No,
1 frame a second.
No, it's going to look at it and look at you and go, "Come on, dude. I'm trying here.
Look at this game. Now look at your PC. Yeah. Now look at this game. Now look at your PC.
If it gets red hot, just like running Excel and, and Chrome. And
that's my work PC running 2 copies of Excel simultaneously. It's like, oh, Lord.
Oh, God. It's a rock star over here.
Yeah, play some Witcher. That's solid.
And I'm digging it, although it was a bad time to start it because I just bought Star Wars Fallen Jedi.
That is a weird time because they're kind of comparable.
They are. It's different. I guess play styles, but in different worlds for sure. But I'm liking Fallen Jedi a lot. I'm maybe like 3 hours in. It's glitchy as fuck. It's pretty crazy.
Whenever I watch streamers playing it, I've never seen any glitches.
No, apparently the glitches are hit or miss. Some people experience, some people don't. I'm playing on Xbox One. I don't know if it's more prone for that. But there's these almost game haltering glitches where I can't. Haltering? Is that the halter
altering?
Top? A game halter topping.
Or halting.
Halting is what I mean. Vaulting. Game vaulting areas where it's like I can't proceed to the next world because of whatever glitch is stopping me from transferring. And I'll like restart it, try it again. Bullshit like that. Or where it keeps miscommunicating with my TV where it's like making me change resolutions on the fly to a point where it's it's a point, and I've never had that happen before.
Switch? Like, what are we doing here?
It's like handheld mode versus regular mode. No, it's like telling the PC that it's not that it needs to change resolutions and go to like game response mode, which is like a faster response rate but like a low resolution mode. It's like constantly messing with my screen. I don't know if that's just my TV or my Xbox, but I've never encountered that before. I took a break on it, but it's even regardless with all those glitches, I'm still having fun. It's still a fun experience. Yeah, the combat's cool. The worlds are really cool. The dialogue is really awesome, actually. Like they just build that Star Wars universe where you hear the stormtroopers bullshitting with each other, and it sounds just like a Star Wars movie.
Have you gotten past the point where you find the main character's voice annoying?
He's grown on me. He sucks. He's boring. He's playing, and but he's growing.
He gets there, but man, at first is it like just.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh,
it's funny because you have kind of your ragtag group of people that you will use their ship to jump around. Yeah. And there's one character in particular. He's the pilot of that ship. He's this alien dude.
Yeah.
He's the best fucking character. He's hilarious. Something about the voice actor, and I looked up the actual like motion capture artist. He's a well-known actor. The way he does it just transfers perfectly to this. It's almost like what's the Curb Your Enthusiasm character?
Larry David.
It's like that in space. He's just awesome, man. Yeah. I really dig him.
Yeah.
As far as like performance of the year, it's that guy for me.
I've heard from a lot of reviews that the gal that's in there that gave up her Jedi hood, which is
she's cool too.
Super interesting plot line.
Yeah, she's very serious, and almost it's like he cuts that tension, that other character. But yeah, no, she's awesome for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm hoping
it's interesting. Yeah, and there's something to that whole. Having a character, he's almost like a character only a mother could love, and slowly you begin to love him.
Right.
That's his kind.
I'm kind of indifferent now. I know there's a lot of, and I thought I would hate him more, but I'm just kind of indifferent. Yeah. You know what? Part of it is it's maybe not biased, but like I'm playing the game and he's delivering this like just fair, normal experience or performances, but I just picture the guy for some reason acting it and being like, I get to be in a fucking Star Wars game.
Right.
So I just like, what, I'm on your team, dude. Because I just picture him like having fun and just being stoked to be there. So that just like, for some reason, just I give him the pass because it's like, I feel like he's having fun doing it.
Right.
So I don't know. I never do that with, movies or games in general. But.
And I want to say this is canonical, which is weird because Disney has introduced some things that I know I was in a Twitch chat when they introduced the zombies.
And
zombies
in
this game.
Oh.
In Fallen Order, and everyone in the chat was like, so magic is a fucking thing? And they're like, magic has been a thing since Disney came on board.
Interesting. Is that aside from like the whole Jedi aspect? Because that could be
Yes,
magic.
apparently Jedi is different than magic. And feel free to come at me at Twitter because I don't know the difference. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of the consensus that we all came to is, Disney introduced magic, and magic is different than being a Jedi, and that's sort of neat.
Okay. Yeah. I mean...
Like a Jedi, like...
Anything goes in this fucking fake world.
Right,
so
but Jedi still has that concept of if you are a Jedi, if you can control the Force, there's constantly, like, this devil side, right? The dark side that's
yeah.
pulling at you. You cannot escape this.
Right.
Even Luke can't escape it. They
always have to battle with that internally,
right?
For sure.
And that's fascinating.
Yeah,
it does unfortunately leave credence toward midichlorians.
Oh, sure. Was that introduced in like the prequels? Or
that was episode 1. But
yeah,
it's neat to see something different than magic, and that's sort of cool.
Gotcha.
So, good game.
That reminds me, are you interested at all in the new Star Wars movie? It's like the third.
I gotta watch the one before it.
Oh yeah, you're so out of the loop.
I watched the trailer for number 3, and I'm like, well, I don't know if that spoiled something or not. Like, we saw possibly a Rey doppelganger or an evil Rey, and I'm just like, I don't.
Gotcha.
A stingray.
So you're like, I'm gonna watch the ending real quick, but otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a fucking monster, but
yeah.
Any other? Did you play any games?
I played a little bit because I was busy this weekend. I played a little bit of Borderlands because I gotta beat it.
I forgot I jumped into that too. It was free this weekend. I played like an hour, but I was having fun.
Right? Like, it's just a fun game. It honestly, it really reminds me of Doom, and that's partially because my character is very melee oriented. So it's shoot, melee, shoot,
Did
shoot,
you go with
melee.
the one with
yes.
the arms that travel? Yeah. She's dope. I picked her too, and yeah,
she's so fun. Now that I'm nearing the end of my journey, and I've realized the power of the grenades in that game, I really want to go back and play through a character who I gave 2 shits about, which is this guy who has the clone, and apparently he has a drone that he can just drop grenades of your grenade type, and I'm like, my grenades are so powerful. If I have something just like doing a bombing run of these,
that's awesome.
Everything is fucked. Nothing will survive.
Yeah.
I have a nuke grenade that spawns nuke grenades in a circle around it. It's like, you can't.
That's very Borderlands for sure. Right. And there's like cheeseburgers involved somehow, or is that?
No, I got rid of the cheeseburger gun as soon as I could.
Gotcha.
But it's super fun. But I was mainly distracted this week with after our last podcast, for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to solve a Rubik's cube. Okay. So I went home, stayed up till midnight, learning how to solve a Rubik's cube. And my fastest time now is 1:30 seconds
to complete it.
Yeah.
How bad do you want to test this? Because I have a Rubik's cube.
I know you have a Rubik's cube. Where are we at?
But do I need to like move it around to give you like a?
You can, because right now there's a lot of white next to. So you need the starter move. If you're not doing the daisy, is a white cross, and right now you have most of the white cross solved. So you need to scramble that. So no one's gonna care. This is gonna be.
It could be good ASMR for. Yeah, this is a very intriguing audio portion. All right, here we go.
5 hours later.
There we go.
Damn.
That took way.
Nice.
I messed up.
It was a bit longer. It was like almost 5 minutes.
I messed up several times there. That was embarrassing. But anyway.
Dude, you did it. I can complete it with an hour, under my belt compared to 5 minutes. So
that's awesome. What I've been playing instead of playing video games.
I see. That's awesome. Well, you're learning a new skill, Gavin.
I feel like somebody's been playing with this because that.
Well, yeah, I've been trying it.
It's been it slides better.
Enigma.
So I went to like the Rite Aid down the road, and I got a Rubik's brand, same brand, Rubik's cube.
Okay, because there's like the cheap ones that just.
Yeah, and that's what I got, and that's what I learned on.
Gotcha.
And it takes a while to break in, and yours feels broken in for whatever reason.
Yeah. No, my nephew will try it. And his first answer is like, "Oh, just move the stickers around." It's like, yeah, you could do that, but that's not the point.
I don't think he did though. Like,
no, he's always his comment is always.
Well, the easier thing would be not move the stickers around, but
break it open,
because
it just like pops out.
Yeah,
right?
they're meant to break off.
Right.
You can take them off. You can oil the whole thing up and then put it back together.
That's another level of nerdiness.
Anyway, as I wasted 8 minutes of our time,
it's fine. It's pretty awesome that you could do that.
We got news to break.
We do have news, Gavin. We have pretty dope. Half-Life news. Half-Life Alyx was announced. How do you feel about just overall? Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I did watch the trailer. So here's the thing. And I love to be proven wrong because I thought this was going to be a hot pile of garbage.
Really? What part of announcement of a new Half-Life did you think hot pile of garbage?
Motherfucker, when's the last time they've been putting out some hot shit?
That's true.
When's the last time they put out a hot interactive piece of first person? And then I watched this. I'm like, oh, they do remember how to make this. They really do. Like the scene where she's healing and having a gunfight.
Yeah.
Fucking perfect.
Yep. Or she loads with that like shotgun pistol kind of thing. She has to push all the debris on the shelf around, grab the actual bullet, load it in, and shoot the combine guy.
And I think something they do here is these graphics, while fantastic, absolutely
this
fantastic.
looks like a next gen title to me. Yeah.
This is doable on a VR headset. This is not out of the realm of possibility. You could have a solid range. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of Rage 1 when I look at these.
I could see that with the focus on like the way how close you are to characters.
The humor's back. And I fucking love that. You gotta have some of the humor.
So we're looking at the trailer now. The character, the Kiwi that's talking to you is Rise Darby. He's from Flight of the Conchords.
Is it actually him?
So they confirmed it's him.
It sounds like a Flight of the Conchords.
And he's definitely going to add the humor, and it looks like he's kind of leading you along, at least for part of the game. But
now that's just got me thinking of Hardcore Henry, where you got the.
I didn't watch it.
He wasn't a Kiwi. He was a South African, and he has like 8 different characters he plays throughout the entire movie.
Oh, you're right. He's from District 9, right?
Yeah, District 9
No,
guy.
he's awesome. Yeah, you're right.
And it's so funny. So that's immediately what that reminds me.
Yeah, so this is a scene where you're shooting. And what do you think about with Half-Life games? You always play a silent protagonist. What do you think about your character being the voice? Is there any change to that? Is there any issue with that? Like, with you being Alyx and she's very vocal, very opinionated.
I don't know in the first person. I've definitely, I think I mentioned this a while back, not very many podcasts ago, but I listened to this GDC talk about how Gordon Freeman is a terrible character because he has no character.
Yeah.
And
he's told what to do, and he's very kind of
right. And Alyx actually has a character, and I don't think it would necessarily break immersion for her to talk.
And they can choose when she talks. So if it's a particularly like a creepy area, she just, or she vocalizes in a way that makes you scared as well. Like, it does work. I just wondered if there's anything that like they have to change for that kind of thing.
I think you just have to play test it. Like there have definitely been first person games where the first person, where the character talks and it's fine. And I think the best example for me is The Darkness, where you're confined. You like the whole game, you're basically a god, and then at one moment you're suddenly not. And your character is yelling. You as a player are standing at, like, I know multiple people that have stood up and yelled at their TV, including me, because they're like, no, this is not how this scene plays out.
But they like pulled your strings the right way where they got that response out of you.
Right, they absolutely did. So this first person voiced character, it can totally work. You just have to play it right. I think you probably have to put a certain filter on the voice to make it really sound like it's resonating from your own skull.
Oh, sure.
But
there were some things that were interesting. So this is a VR title, right? So this is not just on the Valve Index, which I was kind of
everything. I was shocked,
and that's their commitment that it can run. Is it going to look like this? No, I feel like this is like the best PC, and the Valve Index is the footage we're seeing. But
it's definitely the fingers for sure.
That's
the
true.
Valve Index.
Because the Index has so many different like not inputs, but like just ability to sense different techniques, right? So there's that. Now this is a full-fledged release, so it's a $60 title. It's on sale right now on Steam for like 10% off. And
you get it for free if you buy the Index.
That's pretty interesting. I think that's a big deal. So already, it's pretty crazy that you have to have a PC and a Valve Index.
$60 off a must-have title.
This is their flagship. This is their their killer app. If you're thinking if this is a console release, they don't just throw in Halo 6 just willy-nilly. Like this, that's pretty big.
So this is something. I wonder if I'm misremembering. Is her dad? So we're seeing on screen the dad between the 5 displays. Is that the same guy that I don't remember the plot well enough? That helps you out.
He does
in Half-Life 2. Did they lighten up his skin?
Well, the thing is, I think this is a younger portrayal because it happens in between 1 and 2. So I think that's why he does look different.
He does look different.
I think it's because he's younger is what they're doing.
But I remember his skin being darker. Maybe I'm misremembering.
I think with them younganizing, I was going to say, with them making him younger, they just took liberties also with changing his character. I assume it's the same voice actor too, so maybe that's also why. As far as speaking about...
I like his, like, as far as being younger, I like his outfit. That speaks younger.
It's
that's
very
not this guy that's been... Yeah. Still got the hat. Or no, I don't think he had the hat.
He might have, but he sounds visual or audio wise, he sounds like the same character. That's how I know it's him. But otherwise, it does look different. But you have to assume it's just a younger. That's also why they got. So it's not the same character that's voiced Alyx in the previous games. They went with a different. Yeah, so it's a different character because this portrayal is a younger version of Alyx. So how much younger, I'm not sure, but enough to where they got a different.
It is interesting that this is. Not going for realism. Like this character, you look at the dad, he's very much.
Now you know what? So
and that's cool. I'm super down for that. I love like the way they did that in the what are those stealth games that kind of had that?
Oh, Dishonored.
Dishonored games. Yeah. Like I like the stylization.
Right. You know what that reminds me of? So the devs that are working on the story are the Campo Santo guys. And they kind of had a more cartoony.
Campo Santo guys?
Yeah, do you remember them putting out Firewatch? It was that story base where you're walking around.
The devs that are working on that?
Well, they do this. They're doing the story for this game. What the fuck? Yeah. So as far as just like with that kind of stylized cartoony aspect, I feel like that's where I see them overlap. But also they're doing the story with this too. There was drama with not drama, but like so the game that they showed off. I want to say 2 Game Awards ago was. An Egypt-based not Scientology.
And that came out, didn't it?
No. So they announced it. They went quiet. That game page wasn't deleted, but all the videos were taken off after Valve acquired them. So people were wondering, okay, is that project alive still? And then once the trailer dropped, they announced that they're working on this instead. So I don't know if that project is fully dead, but now they're working on this till it's done, and then we'll see what happens with that.
I mean, I'd trust somebody like again. I haven't played Firewatch, but I hear it's phenomenal.
It was cool. I liked it a lot.
And like it tugs on those emotional strings. Like I want those people. We're in this weird state where, oddly enough, the linear game is struggling. Like people want all these branching paths.
That's true.
But the linear game is perfectly fine. You look at like how much do you love
Last of Us?
Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Like we can't let this art form die. So we need these proper writers that can handle that. And I think they can handle that.
And these are the guys for sure.
I doubt Firewatch really branched that much depending on which option you chose.
There were choices, but I think you end up at the same place. But there's a lot of dialogue options and kind of giving you the sense that you are creating your own version of the character, but you end up getting at the same point in the game.
Right.
But yeah, they're tackling the story. I think I love the idea of having smaller teams that do something awesome and then go, all right, deal with this in like a huge property. I love to see them like just rise up to the challenge and with their creative ability already.
Well, which is crazy because people mention that with like, so Nintendo, people would make Nintendo fan games, like some of the Samus Metroid 2, right? That was a Game Boy game that was garbage.
Gotcha.
So people made like, I think there were 1 or 2 different fan remakes of it. And then Nintendo did their own, but they did these takedown things for the original.
Okay, yeah.
So Sega, people would make Sega or Capcom fan games, and Capcom or Sega would fucking hire them to make it.
That's what you should do. That should be standard.
Right, like Street Fighter X Mega Man, that was a fan game.
Oh, you're right.
And they're like, yeah, okay, you're hired.
Yeah. So I pulled up some various tidbits. So we mentioned it's $60 full price game. The team over at Valve working on this is 50 people. So it's the largest largest group of people working on a game at one point in Valve's history.
Over 50 is the largest group?
Apparently on one sole game because it might be more like compartmentalized. But Campo Santo's on there after they acquired them. It's running on Valve Source 2 engine. So this is still on the Source 2, which is Half-Life 2 was on Source 2, right? Mm-hmm. Which is amazing to see what they're pulling out with that, especially for VR. But
I mean, it's a modular engine. There's reasons they're able to upgrade this engine.
Gotcha.
So it could be Valve 2 up into 2030.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That shows that you can just keep adding things onto it. So we have a release date of March 2020, which is super duper soon for them to be like, hey, this is the thing, and it's coming out soon. I love when they drop news like that. Now, this is various quotes. So these are quotes from Jeff Keighley. He has, which is pretty dope. So right when the trailer dropped, he tweeted, hey, I've known about this for 5 years. I'm making a documentary about this. So suck on that. There's a 20-minute dev interview with the team, just kind of just lightly going into some of the issues. But he's announcing that over the next couple of months, he's going to release these longer interviews where they talk about it's not just about Half-Life Alyx, but it's like what has Valve been doing, and are they aware of the criticisms and the issues with going back into Half-Life? How do they go over that hype? How do they go back to it?
God, that just gives him so much clout and so much because in a world where leaks are prevalent, the fact that it's not just him, it's his team,
right?
And they didn't leak this.
Yeah,
they're gonna get so much.
You can
more.
trust him for sure. Yeah.
Right? They're gonna get this all over the board.
Right.
So that's a huge fucking deal.
I didn't realize this, but apparently Jeff has a history with Valve. So he did a dev diary on Half-Life 2 and on Half-Life 1. So he's been down that road before, and so they brought him back to cover the footage. But yes, for years he's been able to play it. He said he's played the game in depth as well. So here's another quote from Jeff. So this is a tweet. I've played through Half-Life Alyx. It took me over 15 hours and seen at multiple stages of development. This is a full-blown Half-Life experience with a rich, vibrant world, immersive combat, great storytelling, and innovative game design. So I mean,
we have no reason to disbelieve him.
No, I mean he's the man. Like that's pretty awesome. I feel like he's a really good unbiased. Although there's drama with the whole Game Awards and Kojima getting so many awards. To summarize Half-Life Alyx, I mean I'm super stoked. I'm bummed that I can't play this game, and I probably won't ever be able to play this game unless they do some kind of PSVR.
You can actually play it without the headset. You can have the controllers apparently.
Okay,
which is weird.
Gotcha.
I don't know how that's going.
I don't know how that works, but I'm glad because this shows me that they're not, they haven't forgotten about Half-Life, and if this is successful or at least critically goes well over, they're going to go back to that world. I mean, that's what everyone wants. So support this regardless.
Like,
I think so.
Have they ever paid attention until like Epic came along? When have they ever had to pay attention to?
But think about this game has been developed for a while, so even before the next thing to flex against them being Epic, they've had an intention to come back to this world because they've been developing this. That's a good point. We don't really have a lot to go off of with Valve because they haven't been putting out games, but you should watch that thing. It's great with Jeff. He talks to the team. It's like 20 minutes. He brings up those questions like why everyone assumes you guys are just sitting back counting your money. Like why go back to this, especially the most problematic game to try and like do something else on.
The expectations are through the roof.
Right. And so they talk in depth about, that's why they went this VR route and following a different character. It gives them like a buffer so that they can blow everyone out of the water with this experience and then go, okay, we're doing Half-Life 3. They need a buffer to not just go into Half-Life 3.
Can you imagine if this does blow everyone out of the water? Like, what do we
I think it will. I have no intention to believe that it's not going to. It looks like they know the expectation and the weight is on them to produce something good, so they have to do it.
Right, but that raises the bar even fucking
That's true.
further.
But I mean, they didn't get in the game to not deal with bars that are way higher than they can achieve. They do it every time.
Right, which they did with that card game, and then they fired the
Dota?
lead. No, they had that card game.
Not Gwent, because that's
not Gwent, but Artifact or whatever.
Okay.
Which was to be fair, they hired like the designer of Magic the Gathering, and then it failed, and then they fired him.
Oh damn! Almost like a Google style, like what have you done for us lately? If not, we just fire you.
Who's heard of Artifact lately?
Yeah,
I had to remember that name hard.
See, I wonder if that's like separate, like business decisions separate from these, the various teams. I don't know. We tend to think of Valve as like one.
I think that was
Gabe
smart,
Newell's
but
just doing everything.
It's okay to fail. Like
yeah,
like honestly, like like I don't know. Anyway,
you want to give them room to experiment, and if something doesn't work, keep going.
Right.
But, so I'm very optimistic about Half-Life. We'll see as more information. They're going to reveal more information, more trailers, that kind of thing over the next couple months. So I'm pretty stoked for this, Gavin. A Resident Evil 3 remake in development. These are rumors, but they're getting more traction. All the outlets are talking about it.
Why would it not happen?
Yeah, it's inevitable. You think Resident Evil 2 sold so well, it was critically acclaimed. So of course you do this, which everyone's on board. So I pulled up the details from Eurogamer. Tom Phillips writes, Capcom will follow its successful Resident Evil 2 remake with a new version of Resident Evil 3. A report today suggests this comes from YouTuber Spawnwave, who said it was on track for a 2020 launch. Now, yes, granted that's a YouTuber. Eurogamer has heard of the project also. Sources close to its development suggest it has been in development for some time, although the franchise's upcoming multiplayer portion, Project Resistance, is currently being given the spotlight. Does anyone care about Project Resistance? I'm not sure. So apparently the as far as the Resident Evil remake rumors are going, it's has a lot of energy behind it. And so there's another rumor that I didn't pull up tied to this saying that we might see an announcement at the Video Game Awards, which is next month. So we'll see if a trailer of some sort possibly.
Pass it by for a sec.
Oh yeah, I think was Resident Evil 2 remake announced there as well? I feel like it was.
Could have been.
It was announced some.
It's like you've said in the past. It's the race to 4.
It is, yeah. So of course, do this one right, satisfy the fans. But the next one that everyone is super excited for is fucking Resident Evil 4. I cannot wait to see how that would look.
Right. And I was watching literally this morning a girlfriend reviews of Resident Evil 4. And she really brought up this fantastic point of it's the first game for its story to match its tone. Because these games like 1 and 2 and 3 are very serious.
Gotcha.
But the voice acting, it's still campy, and it doesn't really match the tone. And then 4, it's just like, we're going to be campy, and like the whole thing congeals together into this cheesy, messy, ridiculous thing, and it's perfect.
You're totally right. That's actually right on the nose. That's funny.
Yeah.
Gavin, I'm not sure how interested you are in the Saints Row franchise, but a new Saints Row game will be revealed in 2020.
Good.
This is another one rumored for the Game Awards, but as far as the actual details go, this is from GameSpot. James O'Connor writes, in August, we found out that a new Saints Row game is being worked on. It was revealed that a new entry in the series was deep in development and that it would have a full Saints Row game, not a spin-off. Since then, though, we haven't heard or seen anything.
Even the spin-offs are good, though.
Yeah. I've only played a few of the actual, solid titles, or the actual, 1 or 2 or 3. I remember 1 on original Xbox.
God, that was bad.
Yeah,
that was.
Then they really figured out their tone and everything, and just just went full force. But since then, though, we haven't heard or seen anything else about it. Now, Koch Media, how would you pronounce that, Kevin? Koch Media CEO Clemens Kondratitz. I think he's just trying to fuck with people with that name. Clemens Kondratitz has spoken out about the next game in the series, which is in the works at series developer Volition. Speaking with games industry.
I really thought Volition had gone bankrupt. I apparently don't know
I guess, yeah. They might be producing the only game within whoever owns them that is actually worth something. Right. Speaking with gamesindustry.biz, Kondratitz says that Volition is being allowed to take their time and get it right. With Volition. With Volition. Gotcha. Yep, you're right. With Volition, we have the creators of all Saints Row games as an internal studio, and they're not going to be distracted by anything else from creating our next game under its important franchise, he said. Saints Row is very close to our hearts, and we'll talk about it next year. For the time being, we just wanted to get the word out that it's coming, and it's going to be great.
So that's not getting shown at the Game Awards. To me, what that says is, especially with that later statement, is they're just throwing money at it.
I see. Well, you think we'll get an announcement teaser thing, nothing in-game, or just saying, hey, it's alive, or it is a thing.
We could get something. I think the thing with this particular franchise is it has the potential to be that Grand Theft Auto level of it doesn't matter how much money we spend on this, it will make it back plus.
That's true. You also want to release it in between Rockstar releases.
Yes,
I think you want to strategically fill the void with that.
So, and they're they're taking up the mantle that Rockstar has left behind. Rockstar has gone very serious. They're still, So we don't need to explain that further. Everyone knows.
Yeah, so they're just taking their own route, and with that same idea and just doing the silly aspect of it that Rockstar doesn't do anymore, which is fine. I mean, that's still alive in their games, but it's not to the depth that... I mean, you can have a dildo that you're beating someone with and flying around in Saints Row, so you can't do that in the GTA games. But there was a rumor, too, I didn't bring it up, it's from PC Gamer, with Rockstar's next game, possible leaks leading to it being a medieval game, an actual new franchise. There's not a whole lot to go off on that, but it was kind of being thrown around for Rockstar. So they're possibly having a new franchise that they're building. That could be in tandem with what they're making, or they're going full force, or that's completely has no evidence, but it's with a grain of salt for sure. But that was just kind of traveling around. I've seen on Twitter.
Sprinkle that salt. Yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yep. Gavin, we have Shenmue 3 just came out. Oof. I kind of pulled some of the reviews. I
mean, it's absolutely what we thought it would be. This is for Shenmue fans.
Yes, that's it.
And Shenmue fans.
I mean, they're who funded the game in the first place, right? So, yeah.
No one that didn't like the original Shenmue funded that game.
And no one is going to buy it who's not a fan of it. So this is from Metacritic. The highest one that I could find was from a well-known publication was from Games Radar. They gave it an 80. They wrote a magnificent, authentic, totally uncompromised sequel that crucially ignores virtually every gaming trend of the past 18 years.
That's the most accurate review, and that's what we wanted.
Well, the fans wanted.
That's what the fans wanted.
Sure.
Authentic, uncompromised, ignore everything in the last 18 years. 18 years. My bones hurt just hearing that because that's the correct number.
Yeah, I remember when this was a thing, and
that
I played
was
this on
Shenmue
Dreamcast.
2.
Yeah.
Oh, not even 1. Oh,
now,
God.
This is with this remake or this sequel rather, they're going in, as I mentioned, uncompromisingly with that stubborn game design. What would an updated Shenmue 3 look like if they were to actually like create some kind of updated gameplay?
I don't think you do update it. Like that was.
Would it just turn into like a different?
Here's the other thing too. Wasn't that supposed to be a trilogy? So isn't it done now?
No, the writer or the creator rather has said that if there's interest and funding, they'll do a Shenmue 4. I remember seeing stuff like that. So I think they've even written it with an actual intention in mind.
God.
But whether or not it gets enough energy behind it, I'm not sure.
I'm sure Epic will help because they've got the.
Yeah.
Wow, what a world.
It's a crazy time
to be
alive.
I like the way you formatted this on the page. No one's gonna see this, but you have formatted.
That's just from Metacritic. I just copied directly from them. So that's kudos to them for organizing.
It has the weird colored bars.
It does, yeah. So it's just not as big because it's a weird transfer. But the next one down here is from Giant Bomb. So Giant Bomb writes, gave it a 70. As I walked back to Shenhua's cottage to turn in for the night after a hard day's work, earning back the money I had gambled away, it hit me. People just aren't making many games like this anymore. So maybe more heavier on the nostalgic, and it scratched that itch for them. And VG 24/7 gave it a 60. Despite these annoyances, despite the fact that it's a game designed with decades-old sensibilities, I enjoyed my time with it. It doesn't have the conclusion we've been waiting 2 decades for, and it barely drives the story forward at all. But the climactic battle is as satisfying as that 70-man tussle in the first game's harbor.
What the fuck?
Yeah. To round out all the with the lowest score, IGN 5.9. Shenmue 3 feels like it's from a different era. A step forward from its ambitious action-adventure predecessors, but still about 5 steps behind modern games. And everything from its laborious progression to its abysmal voice acting and clumsy combat, it's ignored the innovations of the past 20 years and kept doing its own thing. That also feels like another accurate depiction.
I mean, you can't update this game.
You can't, but I wonder, like, would it be? Could you create some kind of like GTA style Shenmue 3, quality game where it has that whole aspect of the story and where it takes place? But
I mean, GTA kind of had that. Like GTA, what was the last one? 5?
Or what's that?
Because the thing with this game when it came out is the graphics were so realistic, and the gameplay was realistic because you were literally working.
Yeah, you had to do menial jobs and stuff like that. Yeah, and look for sailors.
You look at Grand Theft Auto 5, where it's like the guy struggling with his wife and his kids, and they all suck.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, all right, I guess that's the closest thing we have to that.
Hey, you're right. I mean, really, there's a Japanese game series that's super popular that's somewhat open world, Yakuza. I feel like Yakuza is doing whatever this could possibly do.
That's more like fanaticized or fantasized.
Okay.
It's very.
Is this like the quiet brother of Yakuza, possibly?
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is and probably inspired it. I don't know enough. Boy,
Gotcha.
I can't believe you pulled a full article about this next one.
Is it worth going into detail? I'm not sure. I'm not a Battleborn fan, but I pulled up the article from Polygon about Battleborn being shut down. I wonder if this has more, steam behind it just because it's from Gearbox and they have success with Borderlands and it's something that they're just kind of giving up on.
I just can't. I think it's more the fact that this game is still alive to this day.
Gotcha.
Despite 2 years of Overwatch.
Right. So that was the issue. This launched right around that same time as Overwatch, and it was
before it,
a character-driven, or what is that proper term? It's like a character class-based.
I can't
beat 'em
remember.
up, who's he, what's it's, but
yeah. I mean, to be fair, like I really thought Battleborn was a good game. I thought the combat was really good. I think the gameplay was really good. I also some people said the character design of Battleborn was generic. I thought it was fucking brilliant. I really like the character design in Battleborn.
That's the thing that I remember the most is just how the characters looked. I get You mentioned Dishonored. I get like a Dishonored vibe. It's almost like if they did a multiplayer kind of thing.
But I mean, you couldn't, particularly at that point in time, you couldn't beat Blizzard. Like that wasn't going to happen. Also, this was another MOBA in a time where MOBAs were saturating the market. We didn't want another MOBA. Like we had our 2 and we were done. And that's the way it worked out for everyone that tried to enter the MOBA space.
Yep, because there's also, it's from Cliff Bleszinski. That's one of those words I've read a million times and I never have to fucking say it out loud. Cliff Bleszinski's.
Okay.
Shuttered Studio, which was Boss Key. That was his like side project that he created.
Oh right, with what's it called?
They did Lawbreakers.
Hero shooter. That's the term.
Yes, hero shooter.
Yeah.
That was another one that tried to kind of take the lunch from Overwatch.
But that wasn't a MOBA though.
Oh, okay.
I guess that was a hero shooter, like an Overwatch. But this was trying to be a MOBA.
Gotcha.
In a time where people are starting to get tired of MOBAs.
I see.
But it was good. I honestly thought it was a good game, but just bad timing and.
Well, they're keeping it alive till January 2021. And then they're officially shutting down that. So
jump in there.
Well,
you can't buy it anymore,
though. Can't. So it's only existing for the current player base, but you can't buy any more content through the game. You can't download the game anymore. Just to kind of get ready for it to finally close.
I can't believe they didn't shut it down sooner. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, so there's just more news on this on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Some more images too, which don't make any sense to me, but you've actually played through the game. Sure. So this is from IGN. Joe Screbbles writes, Final Fantasy VII Remake director Tetsuya Nomura has said that Square Enix has already begun working on the next part of the episodic remake of his RPG classic. In a Square Enix blog to accompany a batch of new screenshots of the game, Nomura sought to quell fears that splitting the original game into distinct chunks would make it a smaller experience. Opportunities for discussing our true intentions are few.
Afraid of that.
It's
such a big fucking game.
Well, I wonder if there's issues with like how they're going to cut it into episodes and what those episodes mean and how long are they, that kind of thing.
Like the speed run is like 10 hours long.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Well, let's see. They're quoting him here. Opportunities for discussing our true intentions are few, but with regard to the size of the game that many are asking about, there's no reason at all to worry. Even in this Midgar portion alone, the density and volume are so great that I had to give directions to lighten them. It's a reiteration of the team's promise that each episode of 7 Remake will be the size of a full game. However, Nomura added a juicy extra detail at the end of his post. Quote, we've already begun working on the next one as well, but I'm confident that playing through this title will expand your expectations, just like the world that extends beyond Midgar. I want to show you some of these photos, Gavin, and see what you think.
It's kind of crazy. Like them, yeah, they could definitely easily expand out this stuff.
Looks like there's a lot going on. There's a demon guy. Now I feel like this is footage this is an area of the game they've showed already, right? This like kind of train station looking place. There's a boss battle I've seen in this area too.
Seventh Heaven, okay.
That's the show.
I remember that from what little I've seen.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's just some action shots and yeah. It's still slated for, is it 2020? I want to say like early 2020. Okay, yeah. So the release date is March 3rd, 2020.
Okay.
What, 3-4 months? Final Fantasy VII Remake producer Yoshinoro Katase confirmed that the physical edition of the first episode and the remake will require 2 Blu-ray discs when it hits its release date. Forgot about that. So yeah, this is the first part of the game and it's 2 Blu-ray discs.
And they're still trying to quell fears that it's not going to be big enough.
I feel like, yeah, they've supplied enough at this point. Even if it's 2-3 parts, they're doing it right. It seems like.
This is the thing. Like when they said like why they would never remake Final Fantasy VII, they're like it'd be too expensive.
Gotcha.
And the fact that episode 1 is 2 Blu-ray discs, right. This is too expensive.
Which, from a production standpoint, that's already costly to print and put out 2 discs. Like as far as the retail version goes.
How much is it going to cost?
Yeah. Good point.
I would think $90 minimum.
Well, if they're putting out episodes,
unless it's digital.
Well, that's the thing. If they're putting out episodes and each episode is a full game, then I think they can charge $60 for each episode, and it still be a full release game.
Right.
And that would be weird buying the same one game like Resident Evil or Final Fantasy VII, but paying $60 each time. But if it's a full-fledged title with each episode, then maybe it's not so bad.
I still think with how much this thing costs to make, you can't do $60 as a start. You have to do at least 70, probably 80.
Gotcha.
And that's just what this.
Or with the power of microtransactions, there'll be ways to
what are you
get
gonna
more
do?
money.
Are you gonna change Cloud's hair for $10?
Hey, some fucking douchebag might do that.
You're gonna put Tifa in a bikini? She's already halfway there. I don't know what you're.
People would 100% pay for that, Gavin. That's
They
so
would,
why not do
and
it?
have, I'm sure. Brazzers, help me out.
Gotcha. I was gonna show you 2 games that looked really interesting. So one of them's called. The next one is Plan 8. This was kind of sneaker, weird.
I feel like I've heard of this before.
Yeah. So
Nope.
it's almost like doing a better Terminator.
It's the guy from Sonic.
It's like doing a better Terminator game than the last one that came out, the Resistance.
Ooh, that water though. Remember when water finally got super realistic with that one Battlefield game?
Oh yeah, Battlefield really was always pushing the tech forward.
Reminds me of Horizon, but apparently they're animals. It's the prequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know what's happening, but it's fucking sick.
Right? You got some robot action. You got humans fighting robots.
Can I just watch this as a movie?
It's almost like
you got
Surge.
robot legs?
Yep.
Bruh.
There's the Surge or the Surge 2, right, where you're kind of using robot tech to fight robots. I kind of get those vibes.
Let's forget the Surge 2.
Some District 9 vibes to it.
I will give this game credit. It is like riding the line of generic and just coming out on the side of original.
Yep.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, you got like fucking drone wings you can throw out. I don't get a sense of what the gameplay is, though.
No.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that facial animation was upsetting.
It looks like you can be stealthy, you can be actiony. I'm not sure what choices you have.
Right.
But yeah, the facial animations
Yeah, I
rough,
worry
but-
about the acting here.
And we haven't heard any dialogue. I think that was on purpose, too.
Planet.
But I don't know. It seemed like it could be
abandoning the
awesomely bad or
planet.
somewhere in between there. With
God, I hope that's good.
So it's an upcoming exosuit MMO shooter from the creators of Black Desert and Pearl Abyss. So
Oh, so that's good.
is it?
So, to my limited understanding, Black Desert Online is extremely reaction based. So even though it's an MMO where that's hard to do,
Yeah.
You're really gonna need to, and it's also Black Desert Online is extremely pretty.
Gotcha. So I could tell, yeah, same engine, possibly with what they're doing.
Yeah, probably exact same engine, but so it's an
Okay.
exosuit MMO shooter. So it's what Anthem was supposed to be.
Possibly. I didn't
but
get any
with
kind
a
of
more
open world
interesting
vibes, though.
Theme.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Even how generic they were, they kind of have something more interesting going on.
I got some MMO vibes from that, but
Gotcha.
I mean, honestly, this developer right here, the Black Desert people, they know what the fuck they're doing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that game has a chance.
Yeah. I don't think there's any release date info. It's just this trailer that has popped up and
Yeah.
been shared around. But
So
yeah.
it's going to be pretty and it's going to play good.
yeah, well, hey, that's what else you need, man.
Right.
Yeah, Gavin, that's all I have for you this week. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Drunk Devs.
Awesome. And you can find us on Twitter as well, Plastic Heart Pod on Twitter. That is it for this week. It for us this week. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Let's go.
So I don't have a timer aspect.
I got to
but,
find I got to find the white bit.
let's say now.
So there we go. And if I was a smart person, I'd be. Okay, so we got that.
And were you watching various YouTube videos that kind of...
Yeah. No, I had to have it explained. Well, I saw a video on Vice about how to. Nope, did that wrong.
And now you're taking off the stickers, which is for anyone listening. So is that the key strategy there, just moving the stickers around willy-nilly?
Yes, exactly. No, I saw this video on, I think it was Vice, about speed cubing. So now I have the white cross at the bottom.
Oh, I do remember something about that technique.
And and I thought that video was fascinating. And I was like, I want to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. And that same dude published a video on how to solve a Rubik's Cube. So
gotcha.
I watched that. It's a little bit technical.
See, I feel like I move it way more than you are, but I think that's just a dummy's first response is to just like crack at it. But I think you're being more strategic with how you're moving.
Like moving it super quickly, if you don't have a plan, isn't going to do anything for you.
And that's what I do. It's like in quicksand where I'm just like moving it around, but it's not helping me.
So I got the bottom layer there.
Oh, dang. Okay.
And you'll notice how those line up.
Yeah. And that's key.
Right. That's key. So now we're going to...
See, that's where
so now we're going to start doing
like the kickflip version.
Right. Now we're going to start doing the kickflips.
I wonder if you could make some kind of 3D one, or a 3D, like a larger scale one, and then you have to kickflip it to complete it.
I mean, they do make really complex.
Oh yeah, there's ones that are like 6
Rubik's
by
cubes.
6.
Yeah,
like,
we were mentioning I mentioned to someone this weekend. There's the pentagram looking one, the 16-sided one.
Oh, nice.
All right, so now I have the two bottom
you're
layers.
not fucking around here.
So
okay.
this is when it starts going really quick. So, all right, so I got the line.
Yeah.
I got that.
Jesus. I should have took notes on this because I was just assuming you were talking out of your ass.
All right, now I got that. So I changed my...
Yeah, so you're proceeding to... I mean, you're very close to...
hopefully I didn't just fuck it up. All right, so I got the top.
Gotcha. Most of the green.
All right, so I need to do...
How long do you think you spent researching this? Already got the yellow, yeah. You're doing pretty good.
Oops, nope.
I mean, I solved them faster than this, but I'm gonna let it slide. In your case,
I may have fucked it up. No,
you're way further than I've ever been.
I was so close. I was like,
is there a way to retract, to go backwards, or you're
but not in an amount of time that would be inappropriate for a podcast.
Yeah, so you're at 3 minutes so far.
Yeah, so that's that would take far too.
It was getting there where you were like, oh shit.
I was maybe 20 seconds away from finishing. But
yeah, I'm usually always there too. Yeah, if this was like on a date, like you almost got me, but now that you kind of shit the bed at the end, it's like, well, I'm grabbing an Uber and I'm heading home.
Right, exactly. Hold on, I may be able to finish this real quick.
Yeah, it's like you're right around there. I've never been this close to it, but I'm always trying to I'm just grabbing at straws, just like figuring out what works, and I can get one side, but not any of the other sides. But
I also just literally yesterday got a speed cube, which is faster.
Okay, is it the one with like round off the edges or something like that?
They round off the middle bits.
Gotcha. Did you like Amazon this?
Yeah, I did.
So you're thoroughly fucking addicted to finishing this. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I just got used to this slippery.
And is now your YouTube feed just like filled with recommendations for Rubik's Cube videos?
A little bit.
Oh, dude, you're so close.
Okay, so
I'll cut out some of the dead air here. Just trying to fill with something while you...
Exactly. All right.
Oh, your brain does the dirty work.
And there we go. And... oh, no. Did I seriously mess it up again?
I don't know.
This is terrible.
It's fair. It's getting there.
What am I doing to mess this up?
You're able to get in a minute and a half. You know, it doesn't help with me like talking to you and stuff, but I think like anytime I've seen people do this in...
See, that's the thing. I should be able to do it brain dead.
Gotcha.
So that's there. Boop, 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 boop.
That's pretty close.
God, it's so much.
You get it almost to the point where it's like if you keep moving it, it looks like it's done to me. So I'd be like, oh yeah, it's finished.
Okay. I think part of it is just the friction is different.
Yeah, there's a lot of excuses here, Gavin.
There is a lot of excuses.
Well, it's not up to code. And
There we go. All right, so I'm about to finish it. So
Gotcha.
we got to do a clockwise rotation. Which would be boop, boop, boop.
What if we try it again by holding a gun to your head until you really have to? It's life or death.
There we go.
Damn.
That took way.
Nice.
I messed up.
It was a bit longer. It was like 4, almost 5 minutes.
I messed up several times there. That was embarrassing. But anyway,
dude, you did it.